Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Biting Cat Let's Elden Ring. This is episode 4, and as a quick recap, we've been running around getting upgrades and preparing to go where the plot is pushing us to go, which is Stormveil Castle. And I think we're just about ready for that. There's a couple things I would like to do first. But they're not really going to take very long. We've just about hit a wall with our weapon of choice, and the reason for that is that it's still based on physical damage, and we are a magic-based character, and so we need to make a transition away from physical damage to magic damage with our weapon. So the place to do that is the castle. So I think from a melee point of view, we've gone as far as we can go. So it's time to kind of get on that final approach. In the meantime, there are a couple more ashes I want to unlock. First, we're gonna do what we always do at these churches, which is, grab our sacred tear. That'll increase the amount our flasks heal. We're running around at night, so we definitely need to wait until morning. So allocate that tear. Talk to Melina. As a reminder, she wants to talk pretty much every time we visit a church for the first time.
Of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring. Grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
There we go. I don't think we ever can completely understand Queen Marika's actions. At least I don't feel like we can. I don't feel like it would be very satisfying if we did. I mean, on some level, I think these gods are unknowable. They're remote. Now, the descendants of Marika are more human. They have very human flaws. But Marika and Radagon, who is also kind of Marika, are a little harder to know. So this is one of the dungeons we're going to do. Tombsword Catacombs. And, I mean, we could skip it. Let's read this. I think it'll say what's in there. Armament, item. We could go in there, but the truth is, I want to save my keys. And there's no weapon in there that I want. As always, if you're curious about stuff, you can look at the wiki. Lots of great information there. Unfortunately, this is one of those skeleton levels where we have to, once again, kill them and then basically point the camera down. You can't really lock on to them, which I don't know why. It's just kind of a troll, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure what the design rationale is, but you have to manually hit them. And to answer your question, yes, I will probably complain about that every single time because it's just really annoying, and I don't think it adds anything interesting challenge-wise. I just think it's irritating. But our strategy is basically the same as it always is, which is take your time, don't freak out. There's going to be two skeletons here with bows. You can see there's one, there's the other one over on the left. So we're going to take out this one on the right, and sure, the one on the left might hit us, but it's not a big deal, okay? Don't panic. We can kind of position ourselves, get behind some pillars. It's just not a big deal. Now it looks like we got somebody's attention here. Let that guy hit me. It's alright. Alright. They're just moving right along. This probably says skeleton, yeah. These really aren't a big deal until you get like 3 of them in a same place with you. Here we need our bow again. Remember this. We are going to add a point of dexterity soon so that we can actually use the bow effectively. Inside the castle, there's just some occasions where it kind of works better than other stuff. These bloodstains are probably all people who thought they could beat the fire. Let's see. Yep. Oh wow. He made it over there. We'll talk about that in a second. So stick to this wall, right? I mean, again, just don't hurry. This guy will get up. Don't let him draw you out. Definitely don't get him to make you attack the pillar. One thing that isn't widely understood, or isn't obvious, is when you step on one of those, jump on one of those, you can make it go up like an elevator. And if you don't do that, this one will activate and start throwing bombs that will, probably what killed that guy with the bloodstain there. He got caught by a bomb, or else didn't know to turn this off. We want it to go back down though, which will just, kind of eyeball it, throw a spell. There's one behind us. I could regret it. I'm trying to take him out before he gets up. Now, I didn't do a perfect job of that. That's a +2, which means we can get our wolves up to +2, which is great. That'll probably tide us over until we stop using them. We'll probably never get them to +3. Now, if I wanted to, we could go back down there again. There was the other passage, but there's another Grave Glovewort 2 in there, and there's like 4 skeletons that attack you, and I just don't care about that. Now, if you want to go back there and get an extra Grave Glovewort 2, don't let me hold you back. But as a reminder, those skeletons are worth like 65 runes apiece. They're not worth the time it takes to kill them, really. It's just, yeah. That's not something I'm going to fool with. As a reminder, I'm still kind of getting over COVID, so if I sound kind of breathy or froggy or whatever, that's what's going on. This monster has oh shit, might kill me. They have they do a lot of bleed. Fortunately for us, they're very susceptible to magic. Just don't let them get too close to you. Excuse me. The dogs actually finished them off. Sorry about that cough, guys. Just can't help it. But as you can see, that wasn't a huge deal. Next up, we won't be walking very far. We're going to find our first tree. Well, I can't remember what their name is, but they're an Erdtree guardian kind of thing. And that's where you can get the tears that we use to fill our flasks. Now, it's always kind of a point of decision. When you're outside, you can really use the rocks because they're not going to hit a bunch of walls and stuff. I think this guy is actually more vulnerable to pebble. I'm going to start with the rocks because if we can stagger them, we can switch to sword real fast and get a stab in, which does a ton of damage. So let's see if we can do that. We're doing charged attacks here, just hold down. One thing you need to be aware of is that the reach on this thing is ridiculous. Like, unfortunately we staggered him right. Oh man. Right when he did his big so let's try this again. Hopefully we can finish him off before he kills the dogs. That should... well, we really blew that. That's kind of his big trick there. Oh, you guys. Oh no. Well, that's okay. So, that's actually the first time I think y'all have seen me die, which isn't bad. So obviously I lost track of my positioning, but what really did me in there was I thought I was drinking a blue flask to get more magic, and I was drinking a health flask when I didn't need it. And that locked me into one of those out of magic animations where I'm shaking my staff. And in that short time, the dogs got killed. It just doesn't take much. You gotta pay attention. I've gotta pay attention. I shouldn't say you. I've gotta pay attention to how much magic I have left and not just mash the cast button. So, that's on me. Because I've got so many flasks, I'm just gonna go ahead and top off. There's no reason to wait. And let's see if this time I can remember, I'm holding this down as a charge hit. I would love to get a there it is. You just walk right up to the glowing part. We're gonna get him now. He's done. So these are interesting. These are all over the game world, and they're always at these lesser Erdtree settings. And when you defeat them, you get these tiers that you can put in your flask. Now we've got a pretty good flask setup right now. See, hey, we can level up. That's great. That's great news. The next one we want to do, see if I can remember. Let's level up before we do anything else. Alright, just kind of a gut check here. Mind, we eventually need up to 17. Endurance 15. Dexterity 14. And Intelligence 20. Just to get out of the way, I'm just going to get that intelligence done. Then we don't have to worry about it. Let's take a look at our map. There's a catacomb here, but I don't think it's what we want. But I kind of want to go look. So remember, this is our buddy on our way to Castle Morn here. We're just gonna take this little springy thing up. There's a real, now you can see where we are. We're about this dot here. Once we get close to it, it's going to fill in and become a tower or a rise on our map. You read this and it tells you seek 3 wise beasts. And there's a lot of you get all these wolves. We're gonna try the arc out. Just yeah. There's one turtle. I don't like killing turtles, but these are really ghost turtles, so it's okay, right? Whenever it says 3 wise beasts, it means turtles. And the third one, this is interesting, is in this little puddle here. See that splash? These helpful people, are telling you about it. So I'm going to go around and thank them all. There it is. And that's all it takes. It opens the rise up. As I've said before, I don't really get excited about filling all of our memory slots up, because it's kind of hectic to have to swap through a bunch of them during battle. But some spells take more than one slot. I don't tend to use those spells, but you might want to. So if I pass by an easy memory stone, I'm going to get it, so you'll know where it is. And again, this is just kind of us wandering the landscape of the opening area. The castle is actually a boundary between here and Iernia, which for most people is the second area on the map. So we're not really getting sidetracked here. This is all still considered part of the opening area. See that little thing in the middle? That's a gravity there's all these kind of gravity things that happen. They make little meteor holes, and they're like aliens. I think this is all probably related to um, the outer will stuff that we hear so much about. I'm kind of disappointed that it's taking two to kill those guys. I can upgrade the spell. It costs more, but it does more damage, which is how I prefer. I mean, I would rather cast fewer spells that do more damage, personally. Especially since, you know, you don't want to get in your situation where you're just having to dodge a lot. And what's the benefit of having a ranged attack if you just let them close with you and do, you know, and then you're just basically having a fist fight, you know, only so he's dead. And despite all the drama, he's not really worth hardly any experience at all. That's fine, whatever. As you can see, we're just kind of going around this corner here. I've told you about wanting to kill dragonflies and get dragonfly heads. That still goes. If you see any and they look easy to hit, take advantage of the situation. We will probably not fight the boss here. We're here for other reasons. The boss fight in here is one of the, I don't know, trashiest we've encountered so far. It's basically one of those grave dog, you know, watchdog things. Big stone dog, with like 6 of these imps in the room that are just mobbing you. It's a terrible fight, and it's really not worth it. Now, even though we don't see blood, we've been doing this long enough. You know what's going on here. They want you to charge in there. You can actually see one on the upper left there. And there's probably one. Yeah. This whole catacombs is kind of just about getting jumped and outnumbered. And if you're not careful, that's exactly what'll happen. Be wary of right. You see him there. Let's just come on. Is that it? That's it. Another grave, Glavort 2. I mean, you know, if you want to experiment with these various, this is kind of interesting. Let's see what the message. Praise the hiding place. Be wary of trap. So you see those spikes up there? Yeah. You can see that over there. That's a flower, but we don't actually care about that. This is what we care about. Just jumping down here. Now this area is very stupid. There we go. That's really the only reason you want to come here. This area is very stupid. Do not bother fighting these guys. They take an incredible amount of damage. They respawn. They have like even less hit points or less experience than the skeletons, I think. I mean, they're just complete trash. And I mean, you can tell by the numbers here. Look how many there are, and there are more coming up. You're just not meant to fight these things. That's not what this is about. So just, you know, keep moving, pick up all the stuff and get out of there. And then you get to pull the switch. Look at this blood. What do you think that means? That's right. That's what that means. You know, if you're kind of the target audience for this and you're just, you know, not necessarily looking to prove what a badass you are, but you just want to have a good experience playing Elden Ring and seeing all the content and, you know, having a good time, there's no reason not to go around corners like that with your shield down. You know, it costs you nothing, it risks you nothing. You might as well have your shield up. So I am gonna do this. This fight is terrible though, so I'm not going to go in there with runes. I'm going to upgrade our dogs once. Get them to +2, we'll want that anyway.
Greetings, are you here for...
There we go. So now our dogs are +2. They'll be able to take a little more damage, which is great. Then guess what we're going to do? We're finally going to do it. We're going to buy that crafting kit. One of my main rules of playing these games is don't risk anything you'd regret losing.
Wait. Well, you're back.
And so we're going to go into this pretty stupid fight, and I'm not going to lose anything.
I'm glad you took my warning.
I have 7 runes, and now these things can kill me as many times as they want, and it just won't matter, right? Maybe we'll kill it on the first try, maybe we won't, but it's not important because they can't take anything from me. And once again, alright, so what is this fight? I already told you. There's going to be a mob of these imp guys, and there's going to be a watchdog. And it could go badly. This could not go our way at all, or it could go great. We're just going to do our best, okay? Going to go in there, going to summon the dogs, and then I'm going to start throwing the arc. You can see him over there, so... A lot of it has to do also with how together these things stay. And he's doing a lot of damage to the dog, so we really need to shut this down. But in the end, we got him. Now, I'd love to say that was pure skill, but the truth is, those imps all grouped together, and I was able to shut them down pretty fast. If they'd been more spread out, who knows how it would have gone. Anyway, the ashes you get, the demi-human ashes, I'm never going to use, and it's worth, what, 2,540 runes, which is, I showed you those little guys you could kill for 1,000 a pop. It's not even really worth the trouble. But what the heck, we did it anyway. Next up, let's come over here, because we haven't remember the great Kenneth Haight. We still haven't helped him out. So great Kenneth Haight has this Fort Haight, I guess, and it's guarded by a ballista. So we're going to want to avoid that. It's kind of in a siege. It's being attacked. There's the dirtbag knight that took it over, but then it's being attacked by demi-humans. We want to not get caught up in things too much. So I'm staying right here, okay? Sticking to the right. Now we're coming up here. I want to give myself plenty of space. So I'm jumping off, and I'm going to go ahead and summon the dog. The ballista is on that wall up there, so they can't get us over here. Of course, the real dangerous thing, as you can guess, is the pumpkin head up there. He has the potential to make a lot of trouble for us. The dogs, interestingly, are much better at handling him than we are, because we seem to magically only aim at his metal head, but they don't have that problem. But we got behind him, and that's the end of that. We're just gonna kill everybody. Okay. That's that. Let's go up here. This place is full of surprises. When we go in, a couple of guys are gonna be throwing bombs, and then some rats are gonna show up. What I like to do is sprint. I like to take this guy out immediately, and then I like to run, because that guy's going to keep throwing shit, and just try to get up there. And depending on how the rats do, there might be a rat that follows us. That doesn't look like it. So let's kill us some rats. That's not the end of it. See, there's some more action here. The nice thing about the dogs, because there's 3 of them, is they just create a lot of chaos. We're not done though. The guy, the knight, the evil knight who took over, he's up here. I'm not really afraid of him, but it's important to note that his big blood attack can cause you to hemorrhage, even if you have your shield up. So just gonna kind of juke around and get my backstab in, start doing a charge up. That's it. That bloody slash is if you're making like an oracle character and want to set bleed, that's your first chance really, or one of your first chances, not your absolute first chance, but one of your first chances to get a bleed weapon that isn't you know, you can like say I like my claymore, or I like my whatever sword. You know, I can customize a weapon to do bleed for me, instead of like this Morningstar or this knife or this katana. Like if I were doing an Oracle build, arcane build, but I wanted to use this claymore, you know, I could use that to have a bleed weapon. Probably the most fun I've had playing this game was with an arcane build, where I also did like dragon incantations, just a lot of flexibility and weird capabilities. The only real downside to it was that a lot of the game's toughest bosses, including the final bosses, are immune to bleed or hemorrhage. So, you know, if you spend your whole game building up some kind of badass, amazing bleed character, you're gonna be, you know, you're not gonna be able to use that stuff in the end, which can be kind of a downer. But hey, I think that's one job done, and we got another seed, which is great. Let's go ahead and just visit Kenneth Height to tie this off. It's not even really worth it, but where would we be without our favorite classist champion of the Golden Order? Which to me is like a serious problem with the Golden Order is, I think, the class implications of it, the concerns with purity.
I've been waiting for you with bated breath. Did you manage to recapture my fort? Oh, excellent news. Just wonderful. And the knight's dead to boot. Well done, my friend. Well done indeed. I knew I was right to trust you. Now, here's your reward, as promised. Go ahead. It's all yours.
Third steel dagger, scales with faith, which is unusual for a dagger, but you know, who cares really? To me it's nothing to get excited about. Now it does have quick step, which we also have quick step here, so we don't really need it for anything, but there will come a point where we need a weapon that has quick step, and if you don't have one yet, you know, that could be a good one. Alright, so that's tied off. There's only one more big thing we want to do on this continent, which is Castle Morn. But before we do that, I think it's time to upgrade our weapon, our magic. So let's go back and see our teacher, Sorceress Selene. If you recall, we found a scroll that we can give her and allow her to teach more spells.
There you are, my apprentice. Shall we commence the lesson? Is that a scroll? Takes me back to my academy days. Very well. This is sorcery with which I'm not entirely unfamiliar. I'll be sure to incorporate it into one of your lessons. Never lose that inquisitive spirit, my apprentice.
And that's going to allow us to buy the Great Glintstone Shard. Now, it takes 12 FP instead of 7, so we're almost doubling the cost, but it's well worth it in my opinion. So we're just going to replace it wholesale. We're not going to alternate between great and, oh, we got a new charge. That's excellent. So 2 and 5, that's better. We're going to just wholesale replace the pebble with the great shard. And that's going to allow us to one-shot some of these smaller enemies, which is great. But before we go, have we talked to... I don't think we've talked to... there's an NPC we need to talk to first. As a reminder, that's the big bridge with the ballista that we had to kind of charge across.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander. I fear for father's life. The servants are full wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father at the castle? My soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe. Thank you, dearly. Then please, take this. Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
So this is kind of the beginning of one of the unique endings to Elden Ring. And by unique, I mean there are really 3 possibilities at the end. One of them is to perpetuate the cycle that this kind of failure and repair of the ring, which is kind of like the way Dark Souls, you kind of have to repair and perpetuate the cycle. And there are different flavors of that, vibes, depending on decisions you make, but all of them perpetuate the cycle. And then there are 2 endings that are disruptive. One of them, I would say, is they both are kind of like I guess I don't want to get too flaky and philosophical, but the other 2 are kind of assertions of what existential courage, I guess. Basically refusing to continue, or refusing to continue with the cycle that is obviously there are obviously issues with it, rejecting the orthodoxy of the 2 fingers and the gold order, and kind of forging your own path. And one of them is really about being an individual, and the other is about the end of individuality, basically. Um, and I don't want to just explicate on and on about it, but the one that begins with the blind daughter we just saw is really compelling to me. It's not my favorite ending, and it's not the ending we're going to get. But it is, I think, a very satisfying ending. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing things here. I think I might try to clear this place out. And the way I'm going to go about that is I'm just going to cast one spell, and then I'm going to finish them off with melee. There's no reason to take this kind of trouble, really. There's nothing. I wouldn't say it's even really worth it. But we did just get another flask, right? So why not? That's stupid. There we go. That's right. Come on, buddy. This guy, yeah. Right, we're probably going to want to be more careful with our... These guys are called the Misbegotten. And I called Master Hugh an Omen, but I guess he's actually one of these guys, a Misbegotten. But there's some overlap there. The horns are specifically a feature of the Omen. And they're both like shameful, and they're considered cursed. The horns are a curse. This is where we got our claymore. We're going to do a little arc here. Yeah, that's how you do that. This place is pretty much wrecked, isn't it? It's very depressing. You know, every human habitation is depressing in this game. And I think that's important to consider. I mean, we talked earlier about perpetuating the cycle. I mean, is existence as a general category working out? because this just looks horrible. Boy, that arc really worked out. Unfortunately, I've got to drink again because I'm going to need at least 2 for this crap. Alright, do your jump. Thank you. There isn't even much here in terms of loot. The steel wire torch is kind of interesting. It's a torch, but its special attack or weapon skill is like a fan of flames. And that's, I mean, I guess that's kind of nice. A fire is usually faith, you know, so and the fire bombs that you can make supposedly scale with strength, and neither one of those is going to do much for us. You know, that's not how we deal damage. Alright. That guy there is he's like a scripted thing. He's gonna come running. That ladder, if we were going to take it, would take us back to the opening area. This is kind of dumb. These 2 things are going to take to the air. Fortunately, we got him. Right. Alright. We've only really got 1 flask left. See that down there? That's where the father is. So we want to go there. And then after we go there, we can come back here and jump down there. That's the way forward. So we're going to go meet Father. And there's no reason not to use all our magic, because this is it. So let's down our last flask. And that's that. And, you know, this is obviously the place of an uprising. And now we're going to go up here. And here he is. There's Father. I'll talk to him.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said. And true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morn won't hold much longer. Take this, by way of apology.
Sacrificial twig, how exciting. That's something you put in a talisman slot, and it keeps you from dying once.
I see.
Give him the letter.
Arena. Thank you. I mean, you're dead. But I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Morn does not fall into the wrong hands.
Can you believe this clown? I can't help my blind daughter because I'm cowering atop a tower to guard a sword that isn't here. Do you see a sword? Yeah. He is so, you know, this whole story is kind of like, it's kind of like a microcosm of how shitty this world is. It's just shit. And as you go further with Arena and whatever, you know, it's just, you know, it's kind of making an argument that maybe this world isn't worth saving. That's not the ending I choose, by the way, in this game, but it's an argument that's made, and I understand how they might arrive there. Alright, so let's rest. I mean, the first thing we do is make it morning, right? We're not in a position to level up, unfortunately. We need like 5,000 more runes. I don't know if we'll be able to make that or not. But we must press on. Now you got a couple of choices here. These helpful markings on the ground give you a heads up that maybe you don't have to run and jump in that hole. Because, listen guys, you don't want to jump in that hole. There's two kind of pits to jump into in this castle, and they're both just kind of death kill boxes, basically. This one isn't as bad, but it's bad. Mainly because it's so dark. And you see that thing there and you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna get my whatever. Once again, there's no reason to be shy with your magic here. Just let it fly. For that you get a pickled turtleneck and, you know, a blob that wants to drop on your head. There's a lot of things to backstab here. They're not worth a lot of experience, but you don't really want to leave them, you know, hanging out. You notice there's some blobs following you. You don't want to take too long. But like I said, we're not going to run out, so go to town. You know, cast all the magic you want. Take this guy out from a distance. There's zero reason to let him get close to you. I don't think whatever's up here is any good, but we're here, right? And we're never coming here again. So anything that looks like something we might want or be curious about, we should go ahead and get it, because this is it. Twin Blade Talisman. Now that's a useful, really useful talisman for a lot of players. It isn't really good for us. What it does is it increases your damage with each successive hit. So if you have a fast weapon, or even better yet, a fast weapon in each hand, you know, you can ramp up your damage pretty well. But the Claymore is slow. Our spells are, you know, we're favoring slow spells that do more damage over short, lighter spells, same as with our Claymore. So that's not, it's not part of our build, but it is good. And if you decide you want to experiment with a different loadout, you might find something really good there for you. Now, talk about kill box. This is the other situation I talked about. This is tricky for a couple of reasons. One, if you get this wrong, you'll die. You'll do fall damage. Now, the camera in Elden Ring is a lot better than it was in, say, Dark Souls 1. So, you're not as likely to die just because you couldn't tell what you were doing. But you are going to want to make sure you get this lined up correctly, which I didn't. Oh wow, nice. Because I hit the wall, I only lost some health. Anyway, what I would have done was told you to run for the door, because these rats will mob you, and they are terrible. You know how I feel about rats. There's another one. There's like 4 things in there. So don't get yeah, I can't believe I'm lecturing you about how to. See, there's another rat. There's one of those guys. Again, like I said, you know, don't be shy about using your magic. What do we get for that? The whip. Whip is a dexterity weapon, so it's not really a fit for us either. Really, I've never really seen anybody use it heavily, except as kind of like a troll joke thing in player versus player, and it was very successful at that. But as far as an actual, like, let's set out, beat a bunch of bosses, I haven't seen anybody use the whip extensively, though it would be interesting. So here's what we're going to do now. We've made all the way down. We've got a good safe spot. We unfortunately are in a very awkward place with our runes. We need 5,000 to level up. Well, we do have that 8. Yeah, you know what? Heck with it. Let's just level up. And there's no point in hoarding these things. You know, if you got them, use them. And what do I need? I need 9,000. Okay. Just like that. Okay. So let's level up. This is going to surprise you, but I'm going to go ahead, just so I never have to think about it again, and get my 14 dex. And that'll last us to the end of the game. We'll never level up dex again. That's just for the bow. But we may want to use the bow in the castle, and that's where we're going next. So a couple things. Over there are 2 of these misbegotten things, and I think you can get like some butterflies, right? You see that ladder there, but the thing is, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go over there. You don't have to mess with those guys. I'm just coming over here to look. You see the rock here? As long as there's rock, you can walk on it. There's our somber smithing stone, 1. We probably have like 80 of those. Alright, so this is going to be our, this is a boss fight. This guy is really aggressive, and what you're mainly going to want to do is let the dogs take the heat, and we're going to try to stay away. Don't be ashamed, keep your shield up and roll away when you can. There they go. He's not very magic resistant. So that got kind of close a couple of times. This is a legendary armament. If you wanted to get a platinum for that, that's one of the weapons you would need. I've already got that trophy, so I won't be doing that as part of this, but there are a ton of guides out there for that. Alright, so let's go. Let's go back to the daughter. Uh-oh.
Rena, how could this be? My daughter deserved better. The fault lies with me. I chose duty over my daughter's safety. And that is how fate has answered. I'll find them. The foul wretches responsible for this. I'll hunt them down and exterminate every last one of them. Rest assured, Irina, it will be done.
Yeah, that'll help, man. Good job. This is very unusual to get a message like this. She's dead. No period either. It's kind of poetic, I think. Anyway, this isn't the end, believe it or not. We will be seeing more of that story. But for now, guess what, y'all? It is time to go to the castle. We finally made it. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to remember this is where we first met our spirit tuner, Rodrika. And that's the arch we went under to do this sequence break. Well, now we're just going to follow the road. And we're actually going to stay just left of the road. There will be a ballista up here. And we're going to want to be clear of where it can fire. So we're going to stay over here. Don't really worry too much. Just kind of go, go, go. They might follow you, they might not. It really doesn't matter as long as you activate this. I might try to kill these guys for laughs. Not very smart, as you can see. Okay. Let's rest. Now, what do you need to know about this fight? The main thing you need to know is that there's going to be long delays on his attacks that make it seem like you need to dodge, but you're going to dodge too early. And the biggest example of this is when he's jumping at you. Now, those attacks can be devastating, but he seems to hang in the air. You want to wait until he is almost on top of you and then roll into him. And then hopefully the dogs will come in, keep busy while you run away. Kind of with the Erdtree Guardian, it's a decision point whether to use the rock or the shard. The nice thing about the rock is you can get a critical hit in. You can stagger them if you're close enough. Now, if you're far away, you won't get to them in time. But I'm going to start with rock, and if it doesn't work, we'll just do something else. What is this, you might ask? This is a NPC summon. We did one in a cave earlier. This is another character like that. His name's Rogier. To me, we've got a +2 on our wolves. They're going to do a good job keeping this guy busy, so I'm not going to worry about that. But anyway, I'm gonna pop my little flask, and I've got my sling ready, and we're just gonna see what happens.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Now, unfortunately, because of the cutscene, see that? Oh, I didn't dodge it either. Oops. Well, we'll hit him a couple times. See how I'm kind of doing it late? Feels like it's too late, but it's not. We're gonna do it again. See, we staggered him there. If I'd been closer, I would have gone for it, but right, he's gonna do that big jump. See that? Ooh! Yeah. Main thing is don't panic and start well, I missed a critical hit, but it was still enough to shut him down. So that's how you do that. I mean, the main thing with him is just don't panic when he jumps at you. So let's level up. So, like I've said before, we're kind of done with dexterity and strength now. We need more mind, so I'm going to do that. And we're only, 27 away from leveling up again. I'm going to do it again. This is a dangerous place we're going into. Let's just I think I need like 600 more. Yeah, 700 more. There we go. Good. The decision point, if you're wondering what's so magical about 17, and this will be kind of the last thing we look at, talk about a couple of character things, and then we'll call it a night. The two legendary ashes we have, one is Banished Knight Ingval. That's a knight who has a halberd, kind of a wind attack. So that's aggressive, and that costs 100 FP, which is exactly how much I have right now with 16 mind. This is Ludel the Headless. Ludel has a spear that can be used as melee or as ranged, and a great shield. They tend to do less damage than Ingval, but they're a lot more durable because of the shield. So the decision point is which one of these to use. And they'll be the one I use until I get to my late game summon. So this is kind of the bridge between the wolves. The wolves start being not resilient enough pretty soon. So I need to make a choice there. I don't have to make it for a little while, but I do need to make it. The other thing that's coming, we're not there yet, is we're going to switch from the heater shield to this brass shield. Now, when did I get the brass shield? I farmed for it when you guys weren't watching because it's very boring. You basically are in one place and you kill the same 4 enemies and then respawn until you get it. Sometimes you get it in 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 30 minutes. That's the longest I've had to go, I think, is maybe 35 minutes. But anyway, I don't want to make you watch, half the stream be me killing the same enemies again and again. So this brass shield. What's so special brass shield? Alright, so look at, the guard boost of this, 49. That's how much stamina you lose blocking. The higher it is, the less stamina you lose. And you can upgrade these shields. I think it's like every other level you get a point. So it's worth fully upgrading a shield if you plan on using it through the game. But the other thing I want you to look at here is Holy and Fire block, which is 43. So if we look at this, 59, 40, a few more points of lightning, and a guard boost of 56. So 7 more points. Once we start upgrading it, it's going to get in the 60s. We will never be strong enough to wield a great shield, but we will be. This requires 16 strength, which coincidentally is the same strength that our Claymore and later our Moonlight Greatsword is going to require. So 16 is kind of a magic number for us. This will be the best shield for our strength that we can wield, and it'll take us through the end of the game. We'll use this shield on the final boss, and it'll be fine. It'll help us out a lot. So that's kind of the strategy, but it's very heavy, so we won't be able to do that for a little while. This staff you can't even upgrade, so we're going to be using it for the long haul. This bow we will ultimately replace with the horn bow, which scales just a little bit with magic, and even a small amount will help us because we're never going to add to strength or dex again. That's kind of the plan right now. As a reminder, right now, and once more, mind probably, near-term goal is 20 for mind. Near-term goal for intelligence 25, and near-term goal for endurance 15, I think. And vigor is, we're going to keep upgrading vigor till 40, and then we'll reassess. 40 is the first point of diminishing returns for vigor, so we'll be at that for quite some time. Vigor is kind of always a staple. You upgrade everything else, but you find time for vigor always. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. We've finally made it to castle at last. When we play next time, we will finally convert our claymore from a physical damage only weapon to a weapon that deals both physical and magic damage, and that is going to drive its lethality way up. I mean, it's already a good sword, but it's going to really jump up there. We're going to really start knocking the hell out of some things. Okay, but I think this is a good place to stop, and we'll see how far we can get in the castle. The last stream of the week tomorrow night. Okay, as always, we'll be here at 9 Central Standard Time, and hey, we'll see you then.